record right now. I think I've allowed you to record. Now, your Christianity is and your job. My name is Ngenge. I'm calling all the way from Limbe, and I'm presenting to you Godly Success under the umbrella of Christian Inspiration Academy. For those who are just new on the program, this program is a Sunday broadcast, live broadcast that inspires, that is inspiring the world to succeed in a godly way. Okay. Then in the program, we're going to be having a presentation, a short presentation about our topic, which is your job and your Christianity. After which we're going to have deliberations, questions and answers. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be continuing with a series we started last Sunday. And for those who are coming for the second time, who were there last week, congratulations for being consistent. I believe personally, half-truth is not complete. Half-truth is not enough. Half-truth is not enough. Godly success is what we're looking at, and your job and your Christianity. Now we're going to be looking at some timeless wisdom that has been hidden from us, okay? And so people of the world, a lot of people in the world, a lot of bosses who would want to play over our intelligence, they never really reveal this truth to us. It's going to be like a live coaching session. It's going to be a live presentation wherein you're going to be given an opportunity to ask questions. So I will be asking you as our presentation go on. You can drop your question on the comment section. You can at the end of our presentation, we'll give room for those who have questions to ask their questions, and we'll also give room for contributions. What do you think about your job and your Christianity? What is God saying about your job and your Christianity? What is God's mind about your job and your Christianity? Your job and your Christian life, a Christian and a job, okay? What is God's mind about all those? That's what we want to focus on tonight. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. I want to recognize our old members. Akuro Fanorin, you're welcome on the call. I believe she was there last time. Dr. Yu, Via Angelo, he was there last time. Congratulations for staying there. Madame Bonu, merci. Congratulations. Madame Florence Ayinke, congratulations. Mr. Franklin Ayensa. Most of us are here for our second time. Julien Chindia, you're welcome. Liberty Mboku, you're welcome. Mary Eta, you're welcome. Madame Loveline, you're welcome. Madame Morlin, you're welcome. Mr. Joe Richard, you're welcome. Mama Numfo Zipora, she was there last week, you're welcome. Ambuku Ubel, Mr. Ubel, you're welcome. Reziga Ashu, you're welcome. Mama Rose Andine, you're welcome. Mr. Stanley Contem, you're welcome. Tankem Sophie, Mama Tankem Sophie, you're welcome. Mr. Funkem George, you're welcome. Mama Holiness, you're all welcome to our call this evening, to our live broadcast this evening. Now, there is a second class of people I would like to recognize. Our database shows that Mr. Joe Richard, we give you an applause. Just invited some people to the call. Mr. Joe Richard and Mama Atanga. Mama Atanga, they've done that. Our system shows that. Congratulations. Why is this important? This is important because, ladies and gentlemen, we find value. We make sure everyone has access to that value. That should be our goal. Our goal should be that of contribution. We find where we can contribute in people's life directly or indirectly. We don't want to keep it to ourselves. We want to share it abruptly, okay? Some of us are here on the call. We are not alone, but we've invited invited some other people who were not aware of the program. Now, we expect that when you find value, ladies and gentlemen, you should be able to. Now, we have a passage in the New Testament that is going to balance our presentation we had last week. For those who are just joining us, we are under the umbrella of Christian Inspiration Academy, and we are presenting under a program, Godly Success, the topic, your job and your Christianity. Okay, your job and your Christianity. This is actually a series we started last week, and we'll continue with that series right here. But before we get to, we dive into our series proper, I would want to review what we had last week. I want to review what we discussed, we deliberated on last week. And like I said, please write down your questions, write down your contributions, because I'm going to be very brief in my presentation. Thereafter, I'm going to give room for people to give their minds, okay, to share what they think about this subject matter. Our subject matter is, what is God's plan when we talk about a job and Christianity and a Christian? Okay, what is God's plan? What is God's plan? So please just be thinking, and it's going to be more powerful if you get some biblical examples to justify what we have here. Our goal is to illuminate our minds. Our goal is to, ladies and gentlemen, our goal is to make our lives better. And after these presentations like this, a lot of us will be doing a lot of adjustments. Our goal is to improve our lives, and our goal is to be successful. Not only being successful, be successful in God. Okay, not just any type of success. I believe there is good success. There is success and there is good success. Thank you very much for coming. Last week, we were looking at the story of Jacob. We're looking at the story of Jacob. And then we said Jacob, we're looking at Jacob in the house of Laban. Jacob worked in the house of Laban, and he worked in the house of Laban for 20 years. The first 7 years, he was working for Rachel, which, according to the custom and tradition of that culture at that time, Leah was supposed to go first. So Laban had to give Jacob Leah. And since Joseph loved Rachel, Joseph had to go for another 7 years. That was a contract. He made a contract for 7 years. They gave her Leah. And after that, he made another contract for 7 years. And Laban gave him Rachel. Okay. Thereafter, Jacob had to work for Laban. He worked for Laban for about 6 years. He worked for 6 years. He was an employee with Laban for 6 years. And within those 6 years, ladies and gentlemen, we saw that his salary was changed 10 times. Laban was a wicked boss. Laban changed Joseph's salary. How many times? 10 times. In a period of 6 years, the salary was changed 10 times. Okay, that's what was happening right there. Now, Laban at one point, now after Jacob works for Laban, gets Rachel and Leah, now makes his family. He now had children. He goes on to Laban and tells him, Laban, I want to leave now because I have to fend for my family. And last week we were drawing some good lessons from that point. In that, if at that point, if Jacob's life in Laban's house could sustain the family, why would Jacob be asking for Laban to let him go? Because I'm stating the reason clearly, to let him go, and stating the reason clearly. The reason was, I want to fend for my family. I want to go and work for my family, okay? Why will he keep saying that? No. But now, one other thing, we saw Laban's reaction. What was Laban's reaction? Laban's reaction was, Laban told him, I've learned by experience that my God has blessed me. From the day you joined me up to now, my production has increased. What you do for me has been better than you came. Okay, I've learned by experience that your God has blessed me because of you. Okay, now one other thing I want us to draw: a Christian's approach to a job is different from an unbeliever's approach to a job. An unbeliever should be desperate for a job, but the Christian should never ever be desperate for a job. Let me say it again: an unbeliever should be desperate for a job, But the Christian should never, ever be desperate for a job. And whenever you see that happening, is because the Christian doesn't trust his word. He doesn't know how much he can offer. Jacob goes on, he confessed boldly. He said, Laban, you know how much I've done for you. And the challenge we are giving ourselves is, how many of us can tell our bosses, that boss, you know, that since I joined your organization, my production has increased and your production has increased. Sales have increased, your organization has improved since I came, the day I came. How many of us can boldly say that? And unbelievers, and they know it very well, they pick some of us, children of God, and we don't know it. I'm telling you, if you put an unbeliever and a believer, even an unbeliever will choose to employ a believer because he knows a believer is honest. But the problem is we never know the word we carry. We never know what we can offer. We don't trust what we can offer, so we go to them in desperation. And so because we go to them in desperation, they exploit us. We become vulnerable to them. We become vulnerable to them. Now, Laban tells him, please, I'm pleading with you, stay with me. Stay with me. I don't want to lose you. How many of us who want to leave and our bosses will be pleading, stay with me? How much contribution are you giving at your organization? How much contribution are you giving? How many of us will stay with our bosses? Will our bosses plead, oh, come on, John, don't go. John, since you joined this company, the sales have increased, production has increased. Please, I don't want to lose you. Some of us, we even go, it's sad, even believers, please, this is a Christian Inspiration Academy. So feel free and do not find any offense because all the principles are drawn from the Bible. I'm addressing Christians here. And the sad one is Christians go and they disgrace God. It is a disgrace for a Christian to work in an organization and there is no increase in production. It's a disgrace. Final. Now, this is a challenge. This is a challenge. This is a truth. This is a revelation, and this is a challenge at the same time. It is sad for a Christian to work. If you're working for an organization and nothing, it's a disgrace not only to you, but it's a disgrace to your God. Unbelievers should be able to confess that this guy, I don't want to lose him. Because of his God. I'm telling you, this was Laban. Laban was telling Jacob, I've learned by experience that your God has blessed me the day you joined my organization. By the way, how many of us know as a Christian, you're working with a boss, when you're working with a boss, you're coming to bless the boss. Some of us go say, boss, you're going to bless the boss. How many of us will say that? Even at an interview, how many of us will boldly tell our bosses, I want to come and raise yourselves. I want to come and do this. How many of us know our word? How many Christians know what they can give? Okay, that's what we were looking at. Jacob knew his own. Now he was at a job. He worked for Russia, worked for Leah, and worked for this for 7 years again, for 6 years again, 6 years. Now, after that, at the end of the day, Jacob became exceedingly prosperous. Jacob became exceedingly prosperous. At the end of the day, Jacob became exceedingly prosperous. Another truth, and it's a challenge at the same time. A Christian should never go on retirement broke. A Christian should never go on retirement frankless, and a Christian should never go to retirement without being prosperous. No matter where you're working at. That's a sharp truth. Now, when I was presenting this, some people were quick. Some people quickly judged me, and they said, no, but Jacob became blessed in Laban's house. I said, yes, but not as a job, not working for a job. And last week we said, after Laban bidded with Jacob and said, please name your price. I want you to continue to stay here. I want you to continue to work here, but name your price. After they had said that, ladies and gentlemen, Laban gave Jacob an open check. And he said, whatever you name any price, name any price, name any price. And Jacob didn't go like most of us would do. He didn't go to name a price. He didn't go to say 1 million, 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, 10 million, 30 million, 100 million. He didn't go to do that. When you do that, it's a limitation, no matter how big it is, no matter how much it is. So he didn't do that. Jacob didn't do that. Why would Jacob not do that? Jacob said, please, you're not going to pay me. You're not going to pay me. But my righteousness will answer for me. But my righteousness will answer for me. That's what Jacob told Laban. My righteousness will answer for me. And from that point, it was Jacob's righteousness that answered to him. And that's what made him prosperous. He started out with Laban working under a job. That is a fixed salary for a fixed amount of time. 7 years, 7 years. Okay? And for the rest of his life, for the rest of the 6 years, he worked not for a job. He worked for a proportionate pay. A proportionate pay is different from a salary. So Jacob did not become prosperous under a job. The job, from every indication, could not supply his family. The job could not fend for his family. The job could not support his family. He wanted to leave. So he had to take a second bid. He had to go to a second negotiation. And at that negotiation table, he said, my righteousness will answer for me. And what is that? We're going to see that. We're going to deliberate on that today. We'll bring that explicitly. But before then, let's draw these lessons. What is a job? Therefore, from our last week, we said a job is a platform for you to display your competence. If you must pick up a job, then it should be for competence, not for a lifetime. Some of us, we plan our lives on the job. It doesn't work. You can never be blessed. Most of us who are retired, you understand this will make a lot of sense. You can never plan your life. Some people say it and they mix it. When I know the truth, I don't mix it. I say it the way it is, because only the truth can set free. Never you plan your life on a job. If you must pick up a job, it is for competence, not for your life, not for your family, not for your dream. It can never, ever. A job will not do that. And we saw that last week. Jacob did not become, he was not worthy and prosperous as a job owner. He had transitioned from a job owner to a business partner. Get that, to a business partner. All the partners are paid proportionately. Not only that, you could put it this way. He now said, okay, how much I'm willing to give, how much contribution I'm willing to give to your organization, pay me accordingly. It means when my contribution increases, you're going to increase my pay. When my contribution, that's some sort of proportionate pay. That's what made Jacob worthy. That's what made him worthy. Okay, in a job, you either cheat or you are being cheated. Whenever you say, okay, I work for 8 hours a day, and at the end of the month, you give me 100,000, either you cheat the boss or the boss will cheat you because you're being paid based on time. We're going to see that further today. I don't want to stress on that. We'll see that further today. We'll expand on that with an Old Testament, with a New Testament scripture. Okay. Jacob bounds and limits, job, please. A job will bound your life. A job limits your life. A job limits the type of food you eat, limits how far you can go, what you can do. It limits it in one way or the other. Jobs do that. How? Because a job is working for a fixed time for a fixed salary, means your life is fixed, means everything about you is fixed. You cannot progress. Get this right. If you're taking notes, you can never progress as a job owner. You can never, don't talk of progress. How are you today? You've been working for 20 years under a job. How are you today? How are you doing? I'm progressing. It's a lie. It's a big lie, and you know it. The same salary you are earning is almost the same since you started the job. There's no progress in the job. The job, you can predict your life. So just look, just calculate, you know how much you make and know how much you spend. At the end of the day, you can know how much your life is worth, how much you produce in your life. A job can never make you wealthy. A job can never leverage, bring your dreams to pass. And a job, ladies and gentlemen, fixes your life. It fixes your life. You cannot eliminate you. The quality of food you eat, the quality of things you do, it limits your life, your movements, and so on. A job limits. and our God is unlimited. That's one truth I want us to draw. Our God doesn't work that way. Jacob says, according to righteousness, God steps in there. Another strong point I want us to pick from that. From that last week, we said, whether your boss is wicked or not, or good, whether your boss is wicked or good, whenever you agree on a pay, heaven recognizes that, and it is good. It's okay. So God is going to support you. Okay. God works. He says, okay, this is my son. He doesn't understand. I'm unlimited. He measures how well his family is going to be based on the salary he's earning. Okay, you want to carry out a project, he keeps limiting me to his salary. Okay, so I'll work with. That's what some of us we say, okay, you say it's a dream to be in the house, but he keeps limiting me. His faith is just his faith is important enough. No, there's no call that is important enough than these people right here. When I'm talking, some people are I'm sorry, please. A call came and interrupted. So, one thing we're saying is whenever you agree, okay, can you hear me now, please? Okay, thank you very much. Whenever you agree with the boss a certain salary, God accepts that and he respects that. And most of us, we limit God to a salary. We limit how well we live and what we will do in this life on a salary. A salary fixes your life. You can never progress under a job. Okay. Now, let's move to our passage of today. I want somebody to read. I want somebody to read for us our passage of today. Our passage of today is taken from Matthew chapter 20, verse 1 to 16. I want a quick reader. Pick up your Bible. Help us read right from where you are. Just let me know. I'll unmute your microphone. Maybe I get somebody to read for me. Madam Holiness, can you do the reading for me? Or your network? If you can get me, can you do the reading for me? Matthew chapter 20, verse 1 to 16. That's our passage of, that's our focus today. And for those who are just joining us, we are under Godly Success, a live broadcast program. Sunday, we have it every Sunday. And today our focus is on your job and your Christianity. You can read, Mr. Liberty, go on and read. Wait, please. Madam Noella, please read right from where you are. Read, Madam Noella. I prefer Madam Noella. Madam Noella, read. Madam Noella, please. Over to you.
Matthew 20, verse 1 to 16. The workers in the vineyard. The kingdom of heaven is like this. Once there was a man who went out early in the morning to hire some men to work in his vineyard. He agreed to pay them the regular wage, a silver coin a day, and send them to work in his vineyard. He went out again to the marketplace at 9 o'clock and saw some men standing there doing nothing. So he told them, "You also go and work in the vineyard, and I will pay you a fair wage." So they went. Then at 12 o'clock, and again at 3 o'clock. He did the same thing. It was nearly 5 o'clock when he went to the marketplace and saw some other men still standing there. Why are you wasting the whole day here doing nothing? He asked them. No one hired us, they answered. Well then, you also go and work in the vineyard, he told them. When evening came, the owner told his foremen, call the workers and pay them their wages, starting with those who were hired last and ending with those who were hired first. The men who had begun to work at 5 o'clock were paid a silver coin each. So when the men who were the first to be hired came to be paid, they thought they would get more, but they too were given a silver coin each. They took their money and started grumbling against the employer. These men who were hired last work only 1 hour, they said. Why we put up with a whole day's work in the hot sun, yet you paid them the same as you paid us. Listen, friend, the owner answered one of them. I have not cheated you. After all, you agreed to do a day's work for me. You agreed to do a day's work for 1 silver coin. Now take your pay and go home. I want to give this man who was hired last as much as I have given you. Don't don't I have the right to do as I wish with? Don't I have the right to do as I wish to do with my money? Or are you jealous because I am generous? And Jesus concluded, so those who are last will be first, and those who are first will be last. The word of the Lord.
Thank you very much for that beautiful reading. That was wonderful. Very, very eloquent. We thank God for that. Thank God for the reading of His word. Thank you very much, please. Now, I'm going to quickly round, because it's a live broadcast. We'll be expecting interactions, questions, and answers. And please prepare your questions and be ready to ask, because soon I'm going to end the presentation and we'll be taking questions. Now, we see two classes of people there, please. Two classes of people there. The first one, you can read the story back. You got the passage in Matthew chapter 20, verse 1 to 16. We see two classes of people there. The first class of people we see there is those who were hired and they were agreed to be paid 1 silver coin each. 1 silver coin each. Take note of that. They agreed. They signed a contract. I'm going to be telling you the power of contracts, even the spiritual world. And I'll be giving you some consultation, some advice. If you've not yet picked a job and you're thinking of picking a job, I'll be telling you what you should do and what you should not do at the end of the day, okay? Based on these principles. Some of us, we think the Bible doesn't talk about success. Some of us, we think the Bible doesn't talk about our jobs. The Bible has nothing to say about our job. It has nothing. The Bible is the highest book that talks about success in every other area of life. And you're going to be shocked with the principles we draw out of this passage. Okay? Stay with me. The second class of people that we can draw from that passage is people, the master went and he saw them idle. These people were idle. And he hired 4 of them, 4 types, 4 different sections or sessions. The first was at the 3rd hour. My own Bible puts it at the 3rd hour. He went out at the 3rd hour after he had hired those people who had to be paid a denarii per day. That's 1 silver coin per day. He went on the 3rd hour. He picked out another class of people who were idle and sent them to the field. After that, he went out the 6th hour. He picked another class of people and he sent out there at the field. The 9th hour and the 11th hour. Now, so we have 2 classes. People who were idle, he went and sent them to the field at different times. The 3rd hour, the 6th hour, the 9th hour, and the 11th hour. Those are the 2 classes of people I want us to identify from that passage. Now, I want us to draw some principles from there. Now, their wages, the wages of the first class of people was 1 silver coin. They had agreed that. We're going to have a step. We will see a statement. We'll see a strong statement that the master makes, that Jesus brings out from this parable. And you would stop at this day, your attitude after this presentation, we believe your job and your Christianity we believe that our jobs and our production at our job site should increase. Our working relationship with our bosses should increase. And if you have no contribution, and if you've been that type who has been complaining and things like that, you're going to be getting God's mind about when you complain, what actually happens. When your boss gives you what you agreed on, and you complain, what happens? Is it really Christian? Is it really still within the bounds of Christianity for you to do that? Okay, we're going to see that. We'll see that. Now, at the end of the day, it was pay time. At the end of the day, it was pay time. And at pay time, the master gives the people who were supposed to be paid 1 silver coin per day. Some people came 3 hours later. Some people came 6 hours later. Some people came 9 hours later. And some people came 11 hours later. Now, God is showing 2 value systems. One at a fixed salary and another one. That's what a job is. There is a job and there's another one that is a value system. It's the same story. If you don't look at it deeply, with keen eyes, with the eyes of your heart, with the eyes of the spirit, you're not going to identify. But there is something that recurs right here that we saw in Jacob's story. In Jacob's story, we saw 2 classes of people. There was a job, Jacob under a job, and Jacob under a proportionate system or a business system. That Jacob became blessed under a proportionate system, not under a job. I want that to be very clear. Now, these guys, at the end of the day, they got what they were supposed to. They agreed on, and it was right. We're going to get the master statements, and please take note. Take this note. Take note. Whenever you complain, complaining is not part of Christianity. The Bible, as a matter of fact, the Bible says when you complain, you defile your Christianity. Some of us, we work in jobs we don't like and we complain. It's bad, and we agreed and we have contracts that do depict that you are paid. You are supposed to be paid 30,000 francs. You take it and you are complaining. It's against you. We have a serious challenge here. Satan is a liar. We'll have to do this. Okay, this is very, very important. We have to get this. This is very, very important. Now, when you complain, you defile your Christianity. As a matter of fact, he says, do not be like the church in the wilderness. That were full of the church. There's one thing that characterizes the church in the wilderness is complaining. No matter what happens, if you complain with a contract that states how much is your due, and you complain is not Christianity. I'm going to tell you how you should approach your job. What your job should do is you must pick up one. What its purpose in God's plan. Okay. For your life. All right, right now, the second class at the end of the day, he gives the second class the same pay. 1 silver coin. Some people came 3 hours after. Some people came 6 hours after. Some people came 9 hours after. Some people came 11 hours after. May I shock you, therefore, that there is a principle that lies here, and that principle is according to righteousness. Let's see what the master says about that. Let's see what the master says about that. Now, when they first received their wages, they complained against the landowner. Let's get the complaint. The complaint was, these last men have worked only 1 hour, and you made them equal to us. That's what some of us we do. Some of us we're talking about we measure how much we should be earning according to the time we're putting in. It's a poor system. We measure how much we should earn according to our longevity in service. It's a poor system. Wow. Are you still there? It's a poor system. It's a poor system. Now, they say, who have borne the burden? We've been under the sun. We've been under the sun, under the heat of the day. And you still pay us with the people who came late. The same. What's the difference? What's the difference? If you do not read that story very well, you think the master is unfair. But the master is not fair. To one, he had agreed to give a silver coin a day. And it's okay. Remember, whatever agreement you're going into your job and you make is binding. But whether it is evil or good, it is binding. That is the origin of spiritual covenants. It is binding and it works to you according to that binding law. And when you complain against it, unless you break it, you're bound by that covenant. You're bound by that bargain until you break it. Now, the master's answer to them, and I read, friend, I'm doing you no wrong. If your boss gives you 100,000 francs and he chooses to give the other one, if your pay is 100,000 francs, he gives you, he's not doing anything wrong. Can you sink that deep into your mind? How much you're making if it is what you agreed on. Some of our bosses are even fair and they increase it. They're even fair and they increase it. As long as you remain under that bargain, when the boss extends, then the boss is a good boss. When the boss gives you an allowance, an extra this thing, when he steps up your salary, okay, except your contract, because there's some contracts that are flexible, that you can increase your salary. They say 5%. It's a poor system. It exploits you. And it's an abuse to human system. And it's an abuse to humanity, to your Christianity. I'm going to tell you why it is that bad. Okay. Now, there in the passage, I'm going to read something. He says, whatever the receive a call now. Now it says, whatever I will give you. Verses 4. Let me read verse 4. And said to them, you also go into the vineyard, and whatever is right, I will give you. Whatever is right. Please take note of that. Whatever is right. It's about value. We are being paid. Let's know. God has designed the system, the world system. How much you deserve in life, how much you make in life depends on how much value you're ready to take to the marketplace. That's God's plan. How much money you make depends on how much value you're taking to the marketplace, not on the time you spend in the marketplace, not on your longevity in the marketplace. If you spend too much time at the marketplace, but you have no value of it. By the way, it takes time to take value to the marketplace. But again, you're not paid based on time. God does not design, that's not God's system. That's not God's system. You are being paid based on the value you take to the marketplace. And that's fair enough. And that's what we call righteousness. That's the righteous pay. The righteous pay. The righteous pay. Now he said, I'll give you whatever is right. And he gives it. He gives it. Some come 3 hours late, 6 hours late, 9 hours late, and 11 hours late. It doesn't matter. You're going to sit right at the job site and you see some young men come in the organization, but because they are productive, they can increase the sales of the organization, they're going to pay them even 10 times what you're making. And you sit there, you think the boss is unfair. It's not, there's nothing unfair there. Okay. When you say whatever, I'm concluding so that we take questions. When you say whatever, you give room for God to operate. When you say a price, you limit God. Note this very well. When you say whatever, a job says a price. Whatever I give you. That way you're competent, you're very fair. And you're fair, you're saying, please, as long as I have no value, don't pay me. And it goes, there are many Bible statements that backs that up. Apostle Paul says, if you don't work, you should not eat. If you don't work, you should not eat. That's what Apostle Paul says. A laborer is worthy of his pay. Okay, now we're going to see that in the later days. We're going to see statements like that. We're going to analyze those statements. God's measure according to your righteousness. He said, whatever, according to your righteousness, according to how much is. And that is some sort of proportionate giving. Okay, God applies it. If it's tithing, he believes in proportionate giving. How much you're giving, how did he measure the widow's mite? We know that. I'm sorry about that, please. We have challenges with network, but we're going to make this. Now, God, when the widow came and gave, he said, the widow gave all, but these people gave out of their abundance. God's system of whether he's giving to you or you're giving to him, he measures proportionally. But some of us, we go and want to receive, we name a price and we give. God want to take from us proportionally, but we want to receive from him, we name a price, we fix him, we limit him to 100,000, to 1 million francs. Is that how much you are? Is that how big your God is? Is that how? Come on. Whenever you have a salary, do that. Now, strong points. Strong points. If you must go for a job, go in for competence, not too long. This is the best advice. Never you sign a long contract. My best advice is the longest should be 7 years. This is my best advice, and I draw it from that story. The longest should be 7 years. After 7 years, you can renew, please. It's okay. Jacob did that. Don't ask me how did I know that, but I can give you the reasons why I say that. The reason is after the 7 years, the first 7 years is for competence. Your boss gives you whatever he wants to give. We call it a salary. But your life is not based on that. After that, tell your boss, you've seen it. You should be able to measure that. Okay? This is going to bring some seriousness in the society. Some Christians, the majority of Christians are not serious. If they ask what is your contribution where you're working, you'll not be able to give. Since you joined, what is your contribution you'll not be able to give? Okay? So we must take note. We must take note about that. So, whenever you're going in for a job, don't take it too long, please. Don't sign 40 years. It's bad. You limit your life. It's bad. It's bad. It's evil. It's demonic. Even if you become productive, you limit how much you can make in terms of returns, in terms of earnings. By that contract. By that contract. And your boss does it this way. He consults you by giving you, a service car, giving you a house, giving you hospital allowances, giving you whatsoever. That is chicken change. Leave it open. And after that, bring it to the negotiation table, like Jacob did. Tell him, I'm going out for my family. I need to leave. And for someone to say that, you must be sure of what you're giving, because you're sure when you get out there, you're going to stand and you're not going to fall. How many Christians can say that? How many Christians believe in what they're giving? Is it really saving the world? And why don't you think if you leave and you go, you cannot save? And some of us, it's worse when they sack a Christian, they cry. When they sack, you say, thank God, opportunity. I'm waiting for promotion. Okay? I'm waiting for a promotion. This is for a promotion. I'm limiting myself in this job. Whenever there's a sack, as a Christian, if you know what you're giving, say, thank God. Okay, you've been liberated from bondage, from a limit. Limits have been broken. Okay. Now, when you use the time system to get your earnings, that's 8 hours per day, 40 hours per week, 40 years in a lifetime, you fix your life. That's why a job should always be for a brief time. Then bring it to the negotiation table and then pass it on to proportionate pay. Tell your boss, I'm going to raise your business to $1 million, to 10 million, to 10 millions per year. I'm going to raise it. When I raise it, my pay should be raising proportionately. Proportionately. God's pay, whenever he wants us to give, he wants us to give proportionally. Whenever he wants to give to us, he wants us to set a system, according to his system, to set it proportionally. He can now step in. When we set it proportionally, we give God the room to bless us. When we set it fixed, it is still according to God's system. He blesses us according to that limit. We narrow him. That's what jobs do. But again, we must be tested. Competence is tested. At one time, you need to work for free. Christians at their early stage in their career, if you're a youth, please get this. This might be the next advice. This might be your next step for your career. Be ready to work for free. Joseph used dreams even for free in prison. But that his breakthrough came because he did that for free. He was commended to Pharaoh when Pharaoh encountered a challenge. Okay? That's what, at one point, he displayed his competence. What commends you is your competence. So look for any means to display your competence and make it as brief as possible. When you display it, come to a negotiation table. And if you can do it very well, I'm telling you, your boss will come to you. And when he comes to you, he's no longer in control. but you will not talk as partners. I pray one of these days, you're going to talk like partners at your job in the name of Jesus Christ. This is going to bring, I believe, this Godly Success Sunday broadcast is going to bring about revolution. People's salaries are going, people are going to get promotion. People are going to step out, are going to step out into abundance. God is going to release blessings. I believe God, this is not in vain. The words that drop, that get out through this system, through this value system, Christian Inspiration Academy, this program, Godly Success, is going to bless many Christians and is going to open many Christian eyes. So what God's system is according to righteousness and is proportionately. Joseph, this is what happens. Joseph said, okay, I've discovered what can solve a problem. It didn't only end that he recruited people. The Egyptians, he gave them seeds. They had to plant those seeds, work for themselves, keep back for themselves. And then there was a law in Egypt that they will give 5% proportionate. The value system, the system is still working. Go around the Bible, that is a system. That's the best system, and that's the system a child of God should operate under. That's the system that is going to bless you. That's the system that makes you unlimited. Okay? That system is open and is fair enough. It blesses your boss and you're blessed in return. Thank you very much. I'll leave it right there. I take questions. I'm going to take questions. Hope it helps. Okay, questions and contributions. We open the lines now. I'll be taking questions and contributions. Thank you. Welcome for those who are just joining us. This is Godly Success presenting to you your job and your Christianity. In the subsequent live broadcast, we're going to be talking about how you can be promoted, okay? How you can get promotion. Some of us will get promotion the wrong way. Probably we're going to talk about that next week. Some of us have been at the job for, I keep telling people I cannot work in a job. If I want promotion, if I'm working in a job, I want promotion, I'm going to get people to say, oh, no, it's because I know what I can offer. I know my word. I know how much I offer in that organization. I know how things work. And I believe Christians do. Okay, please, we need to understand this so that we don't abuse God. So remember, our strong point, one of our keywords is, if your boss doesn't see your contribution where you're working, then there's something wrong. It's not only a disgrace to you, it's a disgrace to the kingdom of God. That's the challenge for today. Thank you. The lines are open. Please ask questions, give contributions. What do you think about your job and your Christianity? According to our passage today, you have something to say. You have something you want these great people on the call to get. And just to say, it is growing every single day. It is growing every single day. The program is growing every single day. We are hosting a good number. Last week we were about 22 of us or so. This week we've gone up to 33. It's increasing. Keep the numbers coming. And please make sure you subscribe. Okay. Indicate, please. I'm going to unmute your microphone and you talk to us. Your job and your Christianity. Any question? Please ask any question in that life. That's why we're here. The reason is your life is a product of the philosophy you have. And we are trying to reshape the Christian philosophies. I've come to discover many Christians are wretched, and it's because of the philosophy they're operating with. They've been sold to a philosophy that is limited, and that limits their lives and limits their lives at the job sites. Okay? So please ask any question. Your life is a product of the philosophy you're operating with. If you want to change your life, change your philosophy. And one of the things this program is going to do is trying to reshape your philosophy with biblical truths. So please ask questions, maybe some questions that are troubling you, that you are not clear about, and that you want us to answer on the call here. Thank you. Okay. Pa Wanto's hand is up. Papa, I'm going to unmute your microphone, and then you can go ahead and talk to us. You can unmute your microphone, and I've allowed you to unmute your microphone. That unmute it and then talk to us.
Yeah, I don't know whether I should make a question or a comment, but
Okay.
humanly speaking, when you recruit people in the morning and at the 5th hour and you pay them the same, humanly, people who were working since morning will feel cheated. But thank God we having our inspiration from the Bible, and there we can understand. But humanly speaking, if you do that, whether you like it or not, those who were recruited in the morning and have worked and are tired will feel cheated. It is true that the employer said he promised all of them that same money, but humanly you will feel cheated. But again, your contract is what binds you with your employer, and you need to accept the terms of the contract that you sign with the employer. Thank you.
Don't worry about that. I have people working on the case.
Very, very powerful. The contract binds. Now, note that it's not only here. What you said is perfectly true. Right there in that passage, the people complain and grumble. Okay, it's humanly speaking, is going to happen. But what is the truth? The truth is your contract binds you. The truth is when you complain, you defile your Christianity. The truth is the employer determines how much it. And the truth is the second class of people that are being paid based on value. We've seen that. Whatever is right, that same system keeps occurring in the Bible. Okay, it keeps occurring in the Bible. Even in Jacob's story, you see that same principle there. Okay, and right there, when you keep it binding, you limit God. Even God respects the contract. God respects it. And when you allow it open, you allow room for God to bless you. Okay, thank you very much, Daddy, for that wonderful contribution. That's an experienced man talking, and he knows what he's talking about. Daddy, we appreciate you so much for being on the call. There's another hand up, please. Daddy, do you have something to say again, please?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Madame Moruline, your mic has been unmuted, and you can go ahead with your question or contribution.
Okay, good evening, everyone in the house. I'm delighted to be here today. What I have is a contribution. It's not actually a question, and it is in line with what Pa is just saying. What is happening? From what I've come to realize is that humanity is constantly dwelling on one question. That's, we always want to see how we can measure up with people, and that's one area where the devil or Satan has taken a foothold. And that he continually tries to convince us on how we can compare our worth with others, how we can compare our compassion with others, how we can compare our accomplishment or our social status with others. And that's no wonder why constantly we will feel either inadequate or envious or full of pride. So actually, for us to be understanding that he worked just an hour, but was paid equally with those that were there for the whole day. Had they understood that there is no need for them to compare, I think the question would have been brought up. So it's a lesson to us. It is a big lesson to us that we don't need to compare on others. We just need to do our work diligently and wait for our reward, be it from the boss or heavenly reward. So actually, that lesson is very thoughtful, that there is no need for comparison in any stage of our life or in anything we are doing. That's just what I have to share.
Thank you, Madam Aureline. Thank you. Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. And I would like to add that right there, ladies and gentlemen, we should know this. I've discovered this. There's one thing you should know. God is your partner, and that gives you confidence. Now, one other question we could be asking people who think like that is, who did the contract? You did the contract. Was it an agreement? Yes, it was an agreement. You did the contract. Please, if you feel, if there's something you think is contrary, you don't agree with, please, you can say it right here on the call too. So, ladies and gentlemen, right then, God, what limits you is not maybe what you are being paid for is not what. Remember, we said your job either cheats you or cheats your boss. When you're under the job system, it cheats you or cheats your boss. So that is why you should not stay under the job system for long. Okay? As a child of God, you're destined for success. I believe it, and I'm going to say it. You should not, it is an abuse for you to limit God. It's an abuse, and I think it's some sort of ignorance, I put it, to base your blessings on a job. You limit God to a salary, how much you make in life, how much well your family is going to live based on a job. And that's why it should be temporal. And it should only be, in relation to a child of God, it should be for competence. Believe in the partner you have. Your partner is God himself. And your partner, he's going to, don't limit him by a barim, by a job, by a salary. Don't do that. When you do that, then you narrow your blessings. That's just what we're saying. So please, let's take note. You make, there are the choices. One thing, the devotion, for those of us, Christian Inspiration Academy, it has devotionals. If you are not receiving the devotional, you could indicate, and you're going to be receiving it. And one of them is choose today. One of those devotional is choose today. The power of choice is not given. God has given the power to choose your destiny to you. The power is given to man. The power is given to man. And we keep making choices, and our life is a product of the choices we make. But again, we have the Bible with these wonderful principles to guide us to make wise decisions, wise choices. For example, in Jacob's day, when Laban came to him and said, name anything, Jacob said, you're not going to pay me anything. That's what Jacob said. Go and read that story. Genesis chapter 30. He said, you're not going to pay me anything, but you pay me, my righteousness will answer for me. That is wisdom. Some of us children of God will limit it to a salary, and that is where we limit God. That's the problem. The problem is with the choices. Some of the choices we make is not actually God who makes the choices for us. It's because we limit God. We don't believe in what God has put in us. Okay? Thank you very much, Madam Oruli, for that wonderful contribution. Please, any contribution, questions, bring them up. Bring them up, please. Bring them up. I got some comments. I'm going to read the comments.
Hello.
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 Yes, please. Over to you, Madam Mary.
Okay, yes, okay. There were so many voices, so I don't know who was trying to speak before me.
Okay.
I have my perspective of, today's lesson is very different, So I know that the Bible is there to direct our path, on this earth. But I also know that some people take the Bible so literally, like they take it for the face value. There's a deeper value to what people take and how people understand the Bible. For your teaching about being in a contract, and also, I understand that, for example, those who have been working for a very long time and were under a contract will take the salary for which they had agreed, at the beginning. But at the same time, if somebody is in that same contract, I don't think it is fair to pay that person unless there is a different contract. Because if a contract says you'll be paid for a day's job says, I don't know how many hours the job entails, maybe it's 8 hours or 12 hours for a day's job. I don't think it is fair, whether biblically or not, to pay somebody who came in and worked just 1 hour. I understand there is productivity. I understand that very well. Unless that person had a different contract, because you cannot work for 1 hour and expect to be paid the salary of somebody who worked for 8 hours, you know. But again, that is the Bible. So in real life, that is not what happens. Those are two different contracts. So we cannot even put them in one umbrella. Another thing is, you said if people want to sign up for jobs, they should sign up for like 7 years. I would also like to bring people's attention here, like our Bible years are not human years. In the Bible, people live for so many years. Right in our age, in this age and time, you sign a contract for 7 years, you will be killing yourself. Because what happens if by the second year you don't like that job? You have a contract. You're gonna stay there for 6 more years or 5 more years, you know. So, like my job, I'm a nurse here in the US. If you have to sign a contract, it cannot be more than 2 years. And no matter what happens, you must finish those 2 years. So it's preferable for someone not to even get a contract in the first place, because if the job does not suit you, if the job is against your beliefs, you cannot stay in that job. You understand? You go there as a freelancer, as a free spirit. You work, and whenever you think it's time for you to go, you go. You don't stay there on a contract. I don't advise anybody to go under a contract, because contracts have strings attached to them. You know, people always think that contracts have strings attached to them. Okay? That signature is something that will bind you. If you sign for something for 7 years, know that you are going to stay there. Even if you're seeing like the worst of the worst, you are seeing darkness, you're seeing bloodshed, you will stay there because you put your signature on that thing. So it's better to just go without a contract and work as long as you want. You know, if it's something that you love to do, you can stay there even for 10 years. But if something that you find that you cannot continue doing, you don't agree with the principles, you don't like the way people are being treated, it's against your belief, then you can leave at any time. There's nothing binding you. Okay? So that's just my own contribution for today.
Thank you, Madam Mary. Thank you. Please, did you get that? So how many people, look around you, please. I'm talking to you on the call. Do you know somebody who has signed a contract for 10 years? Do you know another person who has signed a contract for 40 years, for 20 years, for 30 years? Do you know somebody like that? Please don't answer here, don't answer here. Just keep that answer for yourself and work on that answer. Okay, you see, my own time is even exaggerated. Okay, that's just a number. I don't have any justification for that. But the idea, principle is make it as brief as possible. Mama Dorothy said yes. Make it as brief as possible. Now, the first interaction, I want us to know this. The Bible is yes and amen. Any principle from the Bible is not debatable. Now, it is correct and right from that scripture. The master says, I am not wrong, and I'm not wrong to do what I am doing. Okay? It's fair. It's purely fair and should be accepted. That's how the system should occur. Now, right from the passage, why do I know it's fair? Because the Bible is true. The Bible is not debatable. We don't debate with the Bible. So the other one, it is fair for that to happen. It's fair for the boss to do that. And we were saying, okay, what makes it fair? Is it because God is unfair? Is it because God? No, that's not what we're saying. Number one, there are 2 points that comes towards that. The first one is there was a contract binding the other people. So it doesn't. I don't go out of the contract. I remain good as long as I stay within the bounds of the contract. Now, there is nothing that states how much I should give. That's point number one. How much I should give the next person. It was open. I said, whatever is right. It was open. Point number two, whatever is right also means whatever I can give you, I can decide to give it proportionately, okay? Whatever is right means what you deserve. I give you what you deserve. It is better to get what you deserve than to get a contract. And okay, what is the measure? How do they set those contracts, those salaries? How do they measure those salaries? They take somewhere the same production, 100,000. Richard the same production, 100,000. Richard, different people, different. How do they measure? It's a guesswork. It's a pure guesswork system, and you should make it as brief as possible. So right there, it is fair for that to happen. Who made the contract? If you don't like it, step out of it. It's your job. You made the contract. Okay. My contract with God is for the rest of my life. Thank you for that comment. Okay, now I'm going to read another comment, and then we'll bring a few other people on the to give their comments. Right here, I got a comment right here. Okay, somebody got a contribution. There are people who got contributions. I'm going to bring them right here. There are some bosses, especially the corrupt ones. They withhold your wages because maybe you were absent when it was being shared. Okay, what do you do in such a situation as a Christian? Now I'm going to take you back to our broadcast of last week. It was Jacob and Laban, and for 6 years, Jacob's salary was changed 10 times. But the Bible records at the end of the day, his life, he became prosperous, extremely prosperous. At one point, it was Isaac in the land of famine. He became 100 times prosperous as he worked according to God's principles. Another case was Joseph. Joseph in prison, in slavery, he became prosperous. There is no condition, no boss wicked enough to bind a child of God. Now the question is, the argument is, who is your partner and who can stop that partner? Have you read that scripture? Please, the scripture is clear. If God be for you, who can be against you? If God has designed that you are, in some cases, God is going to tell you, get out of there. God is going to tell you that. Even in Babylon, people got blessed right there in Babylon. God's children got blessed. Okay, He said, "I know the plans I have for you." Jeremiah 29:11. They are plans of good and not of evil. That statement is meant to people, to God's children in captivity. That's a promise in captivity. Daniel and the other people, they became prosperous in Babylon, in the land of captivity. There is no condition bad enough to hold a child of God. It's not about you. It's not about the system. A child of God operates from a different system. Your partner is God. The problem with the Christian is he looks at himself and he forgets about the partner. And there's a certain a quote I get from Christian Inspiration Academy the other day. It was, if God is your partner, you are limitless. But when you abandon God, then you are limited. That's actually what is happening. Here is a question of who is your partner. And right there, follow God's principles. Are you keeping God's principles even in that state? And what is God's mind about that situation? God may ask you to leave right there. In some cases, God, be sensitive to him. Not because he cannot do it there. There is nothing that can stop him. It says, if God be for us, who can be, not even the boss can be against you. God is with you. The Bible says God was with Joseph and he was blessed. Laban confessed it, that God is with you, I am blessed. Okay? Right there, there's no condition that should bind a child of God. That's my answer to that end. Any other contribution? Stanley, take on the microphone and say what you want to say, please. All right, if he's not there, if he's not prepared, Liberty, can you take on?
Okay, good evening, everyone on the call. Good evening, Mr. Samuel. Thank you very much for the powerful presentation this evening. I hope my lines are clear.
We can get you 5 on 5.
Okay, I want to appreciate you very much for the passage you just shared with us. You know, when you just introduced the passage, when I started reading the passage, I was really marveled at the truth or what the Bible says concerning the job. And my little contribution is in the side of the workers that were employed. I saw it in another way, where you voluntarily enter a contract as an employee, and still you are the same person. You are the same person not ready to be diligent at your service. You are the same person complaining about that contract or complaining that your boss is not doing right. And my contribution is, most of the times we join as employee and you are expecting maybe a promotion, and imagine you're standing there as a boss and you are expecting a promotion as an employee, and then I come to you because I didn't pay you well, you are laying complaints. But someone who is diligent or who means business, who came in for service, who came in to serve at the job site, will forget about those distractions, will forget about how much has been paid at that junction, or how much they are paying this person, or how much they are paying this person. But his or her focus will remain on delivering services, giving services. And I think by so doing, we'll tap the secret, we'll get the secret maybe for the promotion we are looking for. Focus on services rather than involving yourself in a contract, and after 1 day, after 2 months, you are the same person complaining that your boss is doing this or doing this. But someone who is diligent for services will be faithful in his services. Whether the boss is fair or unfair, will remain diligent. And trust me, by so doing, you gain favor from your boss. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that wonderful contribution. Thank you, please. Thank you. Just to add, Laban, we only call Laban the wicked boss. Why do we call Laban the wicked boss? Your boss is only wicked when he goes against the contract. Write this down. Your boss is only wicked at the job if he goes against the contract you signed. Anything out of the contract is at his discretion and should not be tempted wickedness. Some of us, we say, my boss is wicked, wicked, wicked. And we there pray prayers to God. It's a lie. There's some prayers that will not be answered in that lie. So please, Laban is tempted wicked. Why? From that Bible story, the Bible says 10 times he changed Jacob's wage. Okay, what it means, a wage is what was agreed. 10 times. That way we term him wicked. Even as a wicked boss, this guy still came up. He was still smart. He still made the right choice. And what made him is the choice right there. He could still limit himself. That's one thing I want us to make clear. He could still limit himself after that open check was given to him. But he didn't. He was very smart. How many children of God will do that? Now, one other thing I want us to say right here, there is a spirit behind this. Especially when you're operating with a wicked boss and you're operating under a contract, he can change it. If Laban can change it, then talk less of promotion. What they will do is, even if you're doing something, a contribution that is significant, they will give you a chicken change. It can never be your word. And they are right, because you have a contract that is binding. Even what they call promotion, what is attached to that promotion is not really worth it. I don't cancel that. It is important for us to know. When you are seeking for a promotion, just know that. Know that there are consequences linked to promotion. When you're seeking for a job, know there are consequences linked to a job. But that is not God's destination for a child of God, for a Christian. And worst of all is when you end broke. When you end broke, forget it. Forget it. There's no argument that's going to win that. Okay. Mr. Joe Richard, your hand is right up. Take it over, sir.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I'm happy to be on this call, and the discussion is flowing, and I'm really enjoying it. Not just enjoying it, I mean, it is opening up a whole lot of things in my mind. I want to appreciate Madam Mary, who contributed from the US, talking about the contract, the duration, what we should take as a duration of a contract. When she started off, I was like, maybe I was thinking that she would say that 7 years is too small, but she ended up saying that 7 years is too much. It is suicidal to sign a contract. Well, I have worked in a contract for 10 years, but the good thing is that it was only my narrow-mindedness that kept me in that job for 10 years. It's not because the contract bound me for 10 years. I had the right to give a notification of 2-3 months, and then I will be able to end that contract. But because of fear held me in that miserable job, ladies and gentlemen, that could not put food on my table, that job that could not take me towards the direction of my dreams. Fear helped me, because fear of the unknown, fear of what will I do? And the devil has a certain strategy that he uses to enslave us by continuously insisting to us that if we leave, that if we let go this thing, we are doomed. But I got to realize that until you overcome that fear, you are ready to face that unknown. You're ready to face that thing out there, which you do not know. You will never be able to begin living the life of you. You will never be able to pursue your dreams. Talk less of ever going anywhere near achieving them. And so I want to encourage those of us who are here on this call. I know there are elders on this call, people who have worked, and especially in the civil service, and they have gone through, they have put in years, they have put in 20 years, they put in 25, 30. This is not to blame them. This is not to say that, that they were so stupid, but it's just to say, when knowledge comes, every day we learn, and it's to say that they might have put in all of those years. It is time for them to realize that, and I believe they will agree with us, that for all the years, they have not achieved their dreams. And so my encouragement will be, it is not yet late. We know people who have made it in life at 65, at 70. So we are receiving these teachings, we are receiving this, we are learning these biblical principles so that we can apply them. And if we apply them, they can as well work for us. We can transform our lives, and we can be able to pursue our dreams and to be able to make them come true even at this age. And going back to the text that we read this afternoon, I want to just draw our attention again back to the fact that, like our presenter said, the first people who were hired in the morning signed up to earn a denarius. They signed up to earn a single silver coin. The rest of the people who were brought in did not sign a contract. I see those same people doing the same thing that Jacob did. The owner of the vineyard said, "Why are you doing out there doing nothing? Come and work in my vineyard." And here was their response. And this is what he told them: "I will pay you whatever is right." These guys could have thought to themselves, "What if we go and work, and at the end of the day, this man pays us nothing?" And it was possible. If he didn't pay them any, or he might, since he said he'll pay what is right, at least there was a commitment to pay something. So he might have paid them something that was so miserable that it wouldn't even get them angry. But guess what? These guys were ready to work for even that miserable thing that will come. And he went ahead and did the same thing until those who came and work just for an hour. Even the people who went and worked for an hour risked earning nothing. Somebody just hires you, say, "Come and work in my vineyard," and he doesn't tell you what he's going to pay you. It takes somebody who is ready to sacrifice. It takes a sacrificial heart to go and work for a job that you don't know what you'll be paid. And that is where the fortune is, ladies and gentlemen. I want to challenge us. Let's rethink this job mentality. Somebody said job is journey of the broke. And honestly speaking, this thing that binds us to contracts and salaries, let's rethink it again. And we will never be able to break away from this bondage unless we are ready to go out there and serve even for free. Unless you're ready to go, somebody calls you, "I have a job," and you come and say, "Job, I am not looking for a job, I'm looking for a place to serve." And you go and serve for nothing. Let the person pay you chicken change. As long as you didn't sign up anything, you can get over money and go away, ladies and gentlemen. So my encouragement is, it is better not to sign up for anything. It is better to serve. Just go and serve. And it has been proven from that story that those who are just ready to serve always end up being blessed more than those who insist on a contract. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Richard, for that wonderful contribution. Thank you. I think it is clear enough. It's a powerful one there. It's a powerful one there. 7 years is just a number. I want us to, okay? 7 years is just a number, and 7 years is not the standard, please. 7 years, I just got the 7 years from the story. I'm saying if you're too slow, 7 years is just a number. Now, fear also, you see fear, you see what fear can do? When you see yourself being afraid, one question I ask for you is, who is your partner? Is God still your partner? God doesn't operate in an environment of fear. When you see fear operating, when you know your competence and you see fear operating, not even your competence, you don't, the problem is we keep looking at our competence. Our competence is based on God's competence as Christians. So when at times when your fear is operating, I can ask you, if I was to counsel you or to consult you, I'll be asking you, who is your partner? Who is your partner? Now, facing the unknown takes faith. Jacob said, whatever, it is a statement of faith. No doubt the just shall live by faith. I'm rounding up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is your perspective about a job? What's your perspective about a job? For how long have you been there? And for some of us who have retired, how good do you retire? Okay, think about that. This is just a challenge to you and I, and we can change it. The good thing about it is we can change it. We can make a decision today that will totally change our lives forever. Can you trust God as a partner? Can you trust God as a partner? Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our presentation. Our presentation tonight, because we're going to be closing, we're going to be shutting down at this point. But before then, let me give us these few announcements. We have a devotional that is